Hey, welcome back to Newbies to Movies. I'm Justin, and this week we have a special guest back on the show for the second time, my sister Paige. How you doing, Paige?
Good. How are you?
Good. So first, we'll kind of dive into what we've been watching lately. So Paige, if you want to start, what you've been watching? We're watching shows, movies?
Kind of just shows. I've been wanting to watch this third season of The Boys, or wanting to start that. Or is it the fourth season?
Fifth
season.
Yeah, the final season.
Yeah. I've been wanting to watch that. I don't know. I haven't been watching it much
Yeah.
lately. Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of TV shows. It's been kind of holding me back on movies, but I watched Spider Noir this week. We finished that. It was a really good superhero show, but I feel like even if you took out the fact that he was Spider-Man, it was like a really fun noir crime thriller set in the 1920s, which is really great. Obviously starred Nick Cage, but I think the cinematography was great. The soundtrack was great for that kind of film style. They gave you the option whether you wanted to watch it in black and white or in color, and black and white was the only option to me. I think the color just felt really weird. It felt like they clearly made it for black and white, and then like they were about to release it and was like, we have to make a colored version of this because the black and white's going to dissuade a lot of viewers.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the case for me. I thought it looked pretty bad in color, which was odd to say, but it was cool. It was a really good story. I hope they make a second season. I don't know how well it will do. I didn't see much marketing for it, but I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. I did not know about that, like the black and white movies, because, yeah, so many people just write off black and white movies like they're not going to watch them.
Yeah, but I think it perfectly fits like the story that it's trying to tell, which was neat. But yeah, so we're going to play the Spottle Movies game this week as well. I played with Mason a couple weeks ago, so we're going to try it out again. So basically, we'll guess a movie to start. So you can just go ahead and guess any movie, and I'll put that on here. So just name a movie that you like or a movie that you hate. Really doesn't matter. We just got to get somewhere to start.
Do like Avengers, like Infinity War or something. Yeah.
Big one. This should tell us a lot when it comes to the box office. Okay. Before 2018, a lower score than an 82 and way below 2.1 billion. It is an action movie and doesn't look like we have any of the actors or directors. So, not a whole lot to go off of here besides the year. Maybe let's shoot for like a early 2000s movie.
Yeah.
Let's do... The box office isn't that big either. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do The Big Short just because I know that's from like 2008 or 2010s era. Okay, that helps. So, box office bigger than that. Score is between 82 and 74 and rated R, but still before 2015. Looks like way before.
And it's action?
Yeah, and it's an action movie. So, rated R action movie before 2015. Seems like it's going to be way before
Maybe
2015.
When did like Deadpool and stuff come out?
Yeah, that came out a bit earlier,
After that?
but not too much. And yeah, we can try Deadpool. I don't mind Deadpool. I don't think it's that, but that's gonna set us in the right direction.
Yeah, that just reminds me of like rated R.
It was just after 2015, but it did help us with the box office. I'm shocked we haven't nailed any actors yet. We might want to look at like a 90s rated R or even earlier. How about The Shining? Oh, The Shining's not an action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's tough.
Yeah. Bad movie to start with.
Let me see something. Is Heat rated R? Crime. It's a crime. That helps. We got the 79 score right on the dot. But the box office, okay, so the box office is going to be somewhere between 133 and 187 million. We're getting close. And it's a crime movie.
Before 95.
After.
Yeah. After.
Yeah, so I'm thinking 7. Have you seen 7?
Oh, I think so.
But my only issue with that is I feel like it should be a lot higher score than that.
Yeah. Why is it
What do they have
it's
it
not
as?
coming up?
There we go.
Oh,
Okay, it's a thriller too. Ooh, all right, it looks like we get a hint here.
okay.
We can do a plot tag.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Franchise. Okay. Martial arts showdown, right and justice. What?
Karate? The Karate Kid's not rated R.
No. 7 came out the same year as Heat. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Martial arts? Ooh, or is like Kill Bill martial arts? But it's not
Ooh,
really rights and
could
justice,
be.
is it? I think that came out in like 2001 or something.
Ooh. That was good, Paige. So it's got to
Oh,
be
look at
volume
all those.
2, right?
Oh, you think?
It
Oh
wasn't
my
volume 1, it was
god! Yeah.
volume 2. That's crazy. Good job.
Thanks.
So yeah, what happened? Yeah, the martial arts definitely helped you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was in the early 2000s. I don't know why we didn't think about that. I would have got
Yeah.
it with the if we got the director's hint, I would have got that too because it would have, clearly been like another Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. That was hard, but we definitely got there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this week we'll be diving into supernatural horror. So it's a genre that, kind of the threats of the unknown, otherworldly things such as ghosts, demons, or curses, anything that kind of defies the laws of nature, I'd say. But the movies we're doing this week are Sixth Sense and Hereditary. But Paige, what do you kind of see in supernatural horror? What do you enjoy about them? What do you not like about them?
It's messing everything up. So I really like the hauntings and like curses or like aliens being brought into supernatural horror because all those things really interest me. And I really like when like true stories get made into real movie or into movies like depicting the stories that happened in real life. I think those are really good. Like I forget the names of those the couple who would like research hauntings and stuff.
I don't know if I know that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm not a big fan of horror movies. I've made that pretty clear on this show. I feel like a lot of times movies will sacrifice plot points just for the thrill of horror. And I think we'll see a little bit of that today. So first movie we'll dive into is Hereditary. For this plot, I gave it a 5. Hereditary is about a grieving family. They're being like relentlessly tormented by a sinister supernatural occurrences following the death of their grandmother. The plot kind of unravels and, chilling revelations keep popping up out of nowhere. They're being manipulated by a cult, basically, trying to possess the son's body with a demonic entity, essentially. This plot was interesting to me for the first hour of the film, and then it just really fell out. I just could not get into it. I think part of the problem is that these characters are bad people. They've done considerably bad things. Besides their dad, he seems like the only half decent human in this. And so I just don't care what's happening to any of them, that this is happening to them, or if they're going to be okay or not, because I know they've done bad things. What do you kind of think about the plot?
What did you think that the kids did that was so bad?
So obviously the mom almost killed her whole family multiple times.
But she didn't. She's being possessed by the.
Okay, still, she's
It wasn't
literally
her.
blaming everybody else except for her too. She's not taking any responsibility for what she's doing.
Yeah.
The son literally killed his sister because he was high speeding down the road.
Yeah. She shouldn't. But that was mainly the
Yeah,
mom's fault for pushing her to go.
Yeah, it is. It's everybody's fault.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
They're bad people because they won't take responsibility for their actions, and that's made very clear from early on. And then, yeah, the only person that didn't do anything wrong was the dad, and he got lit on fire really early on in the ending there.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't care about the rest of these characters anyway. So
yeah, I liked the plot. I gave it like a 6.5. I thought it was cool when they explained like the whole cult situation with the grandma and how, I don't know, I guess her like demons stayed around to haunt her daughter's whole family and specifically her daughter.
Mhm.
And then they were trying to make the son a king in the cult.
Yeah.
But it was all right. I've seen better or horror movies with better plots, but I liked the cult aspect and like all the followers coming in the end and stuff. It was cool.
It's definitely a Ari Aster thing. I mean, obviously he did Midsummer as well, but like
Yeah.
you were talking about with the grandma, I wish they would have done it a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
kind of dove into that because it would have made me care about the plot line more. For all I know, basically the first hour and a half, I didn't know what these supernatural things occurring were.
Yeah.
In
Exactly.
the build up didn't pay off, I think, like they wanted to for me.
Yeah.
But getting into the characters, kind of already talked about it. I gave it a 3. I think the characters aren't that well written. The mom has a really good plot line going for about the first hour, kind of about her own grieving, but also her trying to come to terms with the stuff that she's done. And it just fell apart for me. I mean, the last 30 minutes of the film, all the characters' plot lines get thrown out of the window for this curse thing that's taken over, which I didn't like. I wish they kept going with the characters' plots because the curse takes over and then it just kind of goes into this full horror movie thing. And that just wasn't that interesting to me, unfortunately.
Yeah. The characters kind of lose their characteristics in the end. They're all just like being weaponized by the demon thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the mom was a good character. I like how much she had going on between like what she was battling and then like trying to take care of her crazy kids,
Yeah.
like being haunted.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, I gave it a 3 because in the
Yeah.
beginning, they all had such good plot lines. It just fell
Mhm.
apart at the end to me. I was excited, like from the first hour. I was like, okay, this is good, horror telling themes. And this is how it should be. And then it just, see ya, which sucked.
Yeah.
The cinematography, I gave it a 7. I actually thought it was done pretty well. I thought a lot of the shots were really well done. A lot of rigid framing and very unnerving restraint, especially, the kind of nightmare scenes that they had,
Yeah.
but used a lot of panning shots as well to kind of hide terrifying elements. Obviously, in a horror movie, you're going to have those jump scares, that kind of stuff. So, and they did it well with the shots, whether it was seeing the mom hanging out on the wall in the background like Spider-Man or, just stuff like that. It was pretty well shot.
Yeah. I like the part where near the end, like right before the final scene where she's like levitating and then gets taken up into the treehouse and like the red light is shining down on her. It just looks crazy. It was really good cinematography. The lighting was good. Yeah, and the dream scenes were crazy when you didn't know if it was real or if it was a movie.
Yeah. For dialogue, I gave it a 3. I really didn't like the dialogue in this movie. One line I could kind of remember was, from the mom, and she said, I can't forgive because nobody admits anything they've done. You literally have not admitted to anything that you've done. That's my frustration. This whole movie is a lot of the characters are very one-dimensional. And they become that way because of the horror, I believe. Instead of, developing the arcs that were set up at the beginning, they just kind of fall into these flat horror characters. And I just didn't like it that much. And the dialogue definitely took a big hit from that to me.
Yeah, there wasn't memorable dialogue really. I do like, the quote you said, that was from the like arguing kitchen scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that part.
That was
Yeah.
the most memorable scene to me just because there was a lot of intensity in it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the peak of me sitting up in my seat saying, oh, wow, they might actually be doing something here with a horror movie. And then it just disappears,
Yeah, then it went down.
which was rough.
Yeah, that was the best dialogue in the movie.
And then set design, I gave it a 7 as well. I thought this looked pretty good. I thought the dollhouse metaphor throughout the whole movie was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of the miniature version of their house being a plot device, as Annie was a miniature artist, but it kind of symbolized the lack of free will that they had throughout the whole movie. But again, you're building up these characters' arcs, and just to tell me at the end that it was going to inevitably happen anyway. So that's great. You can do that, but it doesn't work if I don't care about the characters. You know what I mean? What'd you kind of think of the set design?
I gave it an 8. I did really like how the mom made miniatures of like every scene of her life was interesting, and you could tell how she was going crazy or the different times the camera would show us doing it. But and I really like how their house is like in this deep woods with this like creepy scenery around it like adds to the house being haunted and like just bad vibes in that area.
Yeah. Acting, I gave it a 5. Toni Collette played Annie, and I think she was really good. The rest of the cast kind of felt dull to me. The dad was just there. The 2 kids, obviously, the one died really early on in the film. And then the son, just kind of a wimpy kid the whole time. That kind of fell flat to me, except that one scene we did talk about, the dinner scene, was pretty amazing. But besides that, I just couldn't, give it much more points on the acting. She kind of carried through this whole story.
Yeah, I gave the acting like a 7. The mom is the standout actor for sure. I like the little girl did fine, but she didn't really have much dialogue. But the like clicking and I thought her acting was pretty good for the short amount of time she was in the movie.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting decision too. I don't know. All I knew about this movie coming into it was that she was in it, and obviously she's on the cover as well.
Yeah.
I know she technically plays a role in The Haunting afterwards, but just kind of a weird character with not much dialogue. Obviously, it's kind of portrayed that she has something wrong with her.
Yeah.
But we don't really get to find out what or why or why she's killing birds, or it's just like she's part of this demonic cult too, obviously, when she dies. Yeah, it was interesting.
She like grew up with or at some point the daughter had to leave her family and grow up with that grandma, right? I feel like that is why.
Yeah.
She's so weird because just that like
short. She's been around it.
The crazy lady.
Interesting to kill that character off very early in the film. I know.
Maybe not even halfway through.
Yeah, I know she still plays a role, but it's definitely a decision. Directing, I gave it a 4. Aster originally pitched the movie to the studios as a family drama that kind of curls into a nightmare, kind of aiming to explore the corrosive effects of trauma and grief through a lens of this tragedy. But I just feel like those were so heavily hit on early in the film and then thrown out the window. And that's what frustrated me about this movie, especially compared to, his arguably bigger work, Midsommar. I think that portrayed those same themes and elements in a lot better way than this did.
Yeah, I gave the directing a 5. I liked it. I like him as an actor, but I do think Midsommar is a lot better than this movie, and the directing in that movie was better. I think it could have been more consistent throughout in the directing and characters, the acting, all of it.
One thing I'd say too, I mean, I know it sounds like I'm just crapping on the movie, but I'd say the same the other way around too. This movie starts out for the first hour and 15 as a drama, and then hard switches into a horror movie.
Yeah.
I think you could put more horror in the beginning too. I know she gets decapitated pretty early on in the film, but not really a horror thing, more just like a shock, right?
Yeah.
I think you could bring aspects of both and spread them out better across the movie. And we'll get more into that with the editing. But the soundtrack, I gave it a 5. Nothing stood out to me too much. I think they used the music a couple times at the end during the horror elements that definitely added to the suspense and thrill of the movie, but nothing too amazing in my opinion.
Yeah, I gave it a 5 too. It's not, I had to remember what the soundtrack was like, but it was just for suspense and to build the scene.
Yeah. Themes, I gave it a 3. Obviously, we have themes of generational trauma, loss, mental illness, heavily relied on early in the film, but again, kind of evaded them in the last 30 minutes for horror elements. And this is what typically frustrates me about horror movies. So that's why, I had such a hard time watching this and getting through this. But I don't want to beat a dead horse here.
I liked the theme. I gave it a 6, but I can see why you gave it lower. I probably should have too.
And I mean, they were good themes. Like I said, I liked it in the beginning, and then it just fell flat towards the end of the movie for me.
Yeah. Once it was explained, it was kind of done and just a horror movie.
Yeah. Editing, I gave it a 5. Film heavily relies on the jarring cuts and subtle perspective shifts at the end of the movie. And it just couldn't balance out that grounded family drama and the horror aspect of it. I think if it was edited a little better, maybe added some points about the grandma earlier in the film and, what she's doing and what she's part of, it would kind of lead to a more suspenseful, more frightening ending, as well as a more meaningful ending when it comes to the themes. So I couldn't give it any higher than a 5 for the editing.
Yeah, I agree with the 5. They definitely should have gave us or some kind of hint earlier in the movies that it was cult around this cult that the mom's mother was a part of and how it's haunting the family now. It was all right editing.
Yeah.
I liked the editing at the end with like the mom on the wall, like you were talking about,
Yeah.
and not
Those
knowing
those
she was
scenes were edited well. Like the horror aspect of it was pretty decent at the end.
Yeah, I did like that.
So for overall score, I gave it a 4.7 out of 10 or a 47. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I liked the beginning of this movie, fell short for me at the end. Obviously, Ari Aster went on to make Midsommar. I think he definitely learned a lot of lessons from making this film, but I also know this film is a fan favorite for sure. A lot of people drool over this movie. I just don't quite see it.
I rated it a 7. I have seen this before, and I remember liking it a lot the first time and not thinking so critically about all these aspects about how it's probably not paced as well as I would prefer it to be. But like on my second watch, yeah, it wasn't as good as I remember. But I feel like 7 is bigger.
Yeah.
I like horror movies, so I'm already gonna give it a little higher than.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah, I came upstairs and told you and Braylon I did not like this movie, and you guys were like, "What?" And then
Yeah,
a couple of days later, you said you watched it, and you were like, "It's actually not that crazy that you say that."
yeah.
Yeah, so getting into the next movie, The Sixth Sense. So obviously, this movie came out a long time ago, probably early 2000s. I know you used to watch this with mom a lot growing up. This is one of your guys' favorite movies, but I had
Yeah.
never actually sat down and fully watched it till this week. So I already knew about the twist. Spoiler alert, if nobody's seen it, definitely want to X out now. But obviously, Bruce Willis was always dead from the beginning, and he was a ghost communicating with Cole. So Bruce Willis plays Dr. Malcolm Crowe. He's a child psychologist, and he's shot by a troubled former patient. The movie kind of throws you in months later as he begins working with Cole as a young boy who harbors that terrifying secret that he can see dead people and communicate with them. But obviously, Bruce Willis doesn't know that he's a dead person, and Cole doesn't really understand it fully, what he sees, until kind of towards the end. But yeah, the plot, I gave it an 8. It was a really interesting plot. I think what this one was interesting, a little bit goes a long way. There isn't a ton to go into like plot wise. It's just kind of them trying to understand Cole's mind and his powers and kind of what he sees. But that's what makes it so interesting to me. We're kind of learning with them and kind of going through his mind with them. So what'd you kind of think of the plot? I know you, like I said, you watched this a lot growing up. So what'd you think while looking at it through a critical lens?
I really liked this movie, or I've seen it. I really like it. I gave it a 8.5 for the plot. I just like how, well, my first watch through, I had no idea no one had told me the big spoiler at the end, nothing. So when it got to that part, I was really shocked. I think they do a good job at like keeping you interested the whole movie, showing like kind of hinting you closer to the end reveal of having him see like that girl, or having him see that girl under her bed at that party, all these dead people in his school as well. Like it helps add to the ending, but it was a good plot.
Yeah, for sure. Characters, I give it a 7. Like I said, a little bit goes a long way here. There's only really 3 or 4 main characters. You have Cole and Dr. Malcolm. You also have his wife and Cole's mom. So pretty interesting to see that. Obviously, the movie kind of just based around those 4 characters and their relationship with each other. Obviously, you have some other characters mixed in here and there, but nobody with more than 5 minutes of screen time. And I think that's what made this one work so well, right? It's heavily focused on their relationships with each other and their dynamics with each other, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I gave the characters a 7.5. I really like Cole's mom, and just all of her scenes are really good. She was a great character. And I really like Bruce Willis's wife in the movie.
Yeah.
And how she's trying to deal with living after her husband's passing, but you can't even tell, you don't even know he's dead. But they all played great characters and played them well.
Yeah. So funny enough, I think Toni Collette, she was in Hereditary, but she was playing Cole's mom as well, which
Are
is,
you serious?
yeah, same lady.
That's the same lady?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I did not know that.
So yeah, she was playing his mom as well. I mean, pretty good in both movies, if we're being honest. We just talked about how she was kind of the star in that one, but I didn't really pick up
That's
onto it,
crazy.
but Madison told me when we were watching the movies.
Dang, I did not know that.
Cinematography, I gave it a 6. I think it uses deliberate coloration. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of this, and Tyler will tell you, I've mentioned it 1,000 times a day. This movie felt kind of gray. It was like that early 2000s gray hue that they put on every movie, and that always frustrates me, so I got to knock the cinematography down a little bit for that. But I think it did use red a little bit and cold lighting to display whether he was seeing, real world or the supernatural ghost of the dead people, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely get what you mean. I gave the cinematography a 6.5 because it is a very gray, older movie. But I did like the scene after he performs in the school or the church in that like big stained glass window when him and Bruce Willis were talking. I thought that scene was cool, and you can see it's like brighter near the end where he's feeling good about himself again.
Yeah, definitely too. Dialogue, I gave it an 8. I thought this movie was super quotable. Obviously, the huge famous line that everybody always talks about is the line from Cole. He said, "I see dead people. They're walking around like they're regular people and they don't see each other. They only see what they want to see and they don't know that they're dead." Very intense moment in the movie where he's explaining to Bruce Willis all that stuff he was seeing, especially because he was so big on the first half of the movie about keeping a secret to himself. So for him to open up like that and, tell an adult such a jarring thing, it was really interesting.
Yeah, I gave the dialogue an 8. There were so many like quotable scenes here. I don't have any specific ones to point out that haven't already been pointed out a million times. But yeah, Cole had some great dialogue, and so did Bruce Willis's character.
And then set design, I give it a 7. I thought it looked really good. Obviously set in Philadelphia. A lot of gothic leaning aesthetics, right? The old buildings, the old church, the old school. Very claustrophobic compositions too. Obviously, when he's seeing ghosts, you definitely feel the room kind of tightening in on him, being that he's just a little kid backed into a corner, scared. And I think the kind of what I talked about too, the use of red to signify the boundary between the living and the dead was kind of interesting as well. I thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah, I thought gave the set design a 7. I really liked the feeling of their house. It was like dark and decrepit, and especially that scene with the tent and that dead boy in the tent in his room. That one did feel very like claustrophobic, like you were saying. And I don't know if I realized it was based in Philadelphia, but that totally makes sense now.
Yeah.
Like with the streets.
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that early too, and especially because of some of the outfits of the dead people. And then he was talking about how there was people hung in his school. Back in the day, they would hang people as a slaughterhouse, basically. So that was kind of leading me on to that too. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting looking set design. I gave the acting a 7 as well. I think it was pretty well done. Obviously, Haley Joel Osment as the troubled child, and Bruce Willis, he was very compassionate child psychologist playing Dr. Malcolm Crowe. I think they were great. I think they both did really good job. Obviously, the main plot point of the movie is through them. But yeah, I don't think it could have been much better per se, but some scenes did feel a little, I don't know how you say, stereotypical 2000s conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave the acting a 7.5. I thought, yeah, Haley Joel Osment did really good for his age, and this really like started up his career. And this is like one of Bruce Willis's like greatest movies in my opinion. I really liked it. And I wanted to point out how good the acting was of Malcolm's wife in the movie. Like they have no scenes, or they have scenes in the beginning talking, but like all the scenes past the beginning of the movie with him and his wife are so, you can like, I don't know, they're just so great. You can't even tell he's dead, but there's no talking between them. Like there's a scene at the restaurant where he's sitting in front of her and like he reaches for the check and she reaches and grabs it first, and like she's just so, you can tell on the second watch how upset she is with her husband being gone. But the first watch, you have no idea he's not even sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very neat and very different way to have to go into a role. I mean, you imagine being told that you have to sit with your co-star, but they're going to be talking to you and you can't express yourself in any way back towards them. very interesting. And we'll get into that a little bit more with the editing of this movie. But directing, I gave it an 8, obviously directed by M. Night Shyamalan. This was a huge hit of his, masterful direction. He ended up winning Academy Award for this for Best Director and highly regarded for its very suspenseful pacing, but brilliant use of visual motifs and then obviously the iconic twist ending. I think he did a great job here.
Sure.
And then soundtrack, I gave it a 6. I think it did a good job. I think it captured the film's eerie, emotional, and suspenseful tone. Definitely had a lot of orchestraical cues in the movie. I think it did its job. It kind of portrayed plot points, but it was nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I liked the soundtrack. I gave it an 8. I thought it was good to support the movie and the different suspenseful scenes.
Yeah. Theme, I gave it an 8. I think at its core, it's an emotional drama about confronting trauma, letting go of grief, and kind of the power of empathy with one another.
Yeah, I really liked the theme of the movie. I gave it an 8.5. I really liked the emotional connections between Cole and his therapist. And that.
Yeah, I think they did a good job together in those scenes, kind of portraying, what it would be like for a child to be going through something like this, but also as an adult therapist, kind of haunted by his past and what happened to him with this previous patient was an interesting dive into the theme as well. And then getting to the, I'd say, golden medal winner here, I'd give the editing a 9. It was renowned for its sleight of hand. Obviously, so many scenes directed in this where with Bruce Willis sitting in a room, either talking with the kid or thinking he's talking to somebody in that room, but obviously him never being there. Very interesting award to go await it, very interesting way to go about it. It ended up winning the Oscar for, or an Oscar nomination, for Best Film Editing. I'd be curious to see who won over it. But obviously it's masterful manipulation of time, space, and the audience to portray its huge plot twist.
Yeah, I gave the editing an 8. You have to have really good editing to have such a good, what's the word?
Plot twist.
Plot twist at the end. And I think he did that really well.
Yeah. So overall, I gave this a 7.4 out of 10 or a 74. I really enjoyed this movie. I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if the plot twist hadn't been spoiled for me, but still a really great movie. And I can still appreciate how it was done and, how the acting and the editing and directing all kind of led there to that point.
Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I've always really liked this movie, and I'm a big fan of this movie. The editing is great, and I'm a big fan of the characters in this movie.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed watching those movies this week. And different for me. I'm not a big horror person. I don't know if you'd really call The Sixth Sense a horror movie per se, more of like a thriller, I'd say. But it was definitely interesting to dive into them and kind of see the differences and see, what direction these two directors were kind of headed in when it comes to those supernatural horrors. So now, today we decided we're going to do a movie draft, but not for supernatural horror, just because I haven't seen that many. But instead, we're going to do a draft of 2015 movies. So we'll do a couple different categories here. We'll do box office over 100 million global, Oscar nomination, drama, comedy, animated movie. So you can pick one or the other. And then action or horror. And then wild card, and then a movie that didn't age well. So something that came out that year that you look back and just say, yeah, that just wasn't it. Let me spin a wheel here. Spinning. Paige gets to go. Well, Paige, you can pick whether you want to go first or second. So obviously if you go first, it'll be a sec, or you can go second and then you get 2 picks.
Okay, I'll let you go first. But...
Okay, so box office. Actually, hold on. I think I'm going to go with the category I think is a little bit short in this year. So I'm going to go ahead and go comedy animated, and I'm going to take Inside Out. Yeah, I really like this movie. Obviously, we did Pixar a couple of weeks ago, but I think there wasn't that many good animated movies this year, so definitely wanted to get on top with one of the better ones.
So I'll do 2 now?
Mm-hmm.
Or okay. So I'll take Oscar nom, and I'll do Boyhood.
Ooh,
that's the movie that was like filmed over, I think, 12 years.
Yeah.
Of all the actors in the movie's lives, but it was a great movie. I've seen it a couple times.
All right, hold on here. I hate to break it to you. That came out in July of 2014.
Bro, why did I just look it up and it showed me it?
I don't know, man. Gonna have to get rid of that one.
Wait, yeah, I don't know why it's still showing me that.
It probably got nominated for an Oscar in 2015, but it has to come out in 2014.
What about the Grand Budapest?
I think that would be the same.
2014. Why are they all coming up? And then
If you just look up 2015 movies, it should have them there for you.
I was just trying to make sure it was Oscar nominated. But
So you want to say 2016 Oscars?
okay, I'll take for Oscar nomination. I'll take The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, let's go in.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've meant to watch it like a bunch of times, and I know everyone loves that.
Yeah, obviously a Tarantino movie. Very Tarantino-y, but definitely a different style of plot, I think, than what he would normally do. And then you can go ahead with your second one when you're ready.
Gosh, there's not even good horror movies in 2015. Ooh, okay. I'll do for comedy / animated, I'll take the movie Get Hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, this movie annoys the crap out of me. I almost put this on my didn't age well.
Get Hard did?
Yeah.
I was about to say another
personally
one,
don't
but
like it, but that's just me.
yeah.
Yeah, so for my next one, I'm going to go my Oscar nomination. I'm going to go The Big Short. I really like this movie. One of my favorites. Kind of goes into a really stacked cast, by the way, but it kind of dives into the 2008 financial crisis, the housing crisis, kind of how everything just fell apart, how people got greedy. Obviously, it has Ryan Gosling, Steve Carell, Christian Bale, Margot Robbie's in it for a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty neat. And then my second one, I'm going to go another big movie here, and I'm going to take it in the drama category. I'm going to go The Martian.
Yeah.
I really like this movie. Obviously, Matt Damon, getting stuck on Mars. I enjoyed this movie on a first watch. It kind of got old. It's kind of a basic plot now that I'm rewatching it, but I still do enjoy this movie, just not as much as I did on the first watch.
For box office, I'll do Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I've seen that movie so many times, like with you and Cole. That's like probably one of my favorite Avengers movies, really good.
Honestly, it's pretty underrated, and I really enjoyed the villain of Ultron.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of it. It's kind of tough when, being an Avengers movie and you're surrounded by like really great movies all around. It's going to be, somebody's got to be at the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. Or I have drama and
action, horror, wild card, and didn't age well.
For action, I'll do Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
This is another movie I haven't seen yet, but I've been meaning to watch it for a long time. Everyone talks about Mad Max Fury Road and how good it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I know Tyler really likes it, though.
Yeah.
I just haven't got the chance to watch it yet.
Yeah.
All right, should be my pick now. For my action, I'm going to take Creed, directed by Ryan Coogler, obviously starring Michael B. Jordan. I really enjoyed this movie. I was excited for it when it came out because I was excited to see the Rocky franchise continued. And I think they did it in a really great way. They paid respect to Rocky and what he had going on with his own franchise, but then you kind of move it forward, then move it on to Creed 2 and Creed 3. And Creed 3 was an amazing movie as well. Kind of see the beginning of that. It was really good and really well done. Let me see here. For my wild card, actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and take my box office. I'm going to take Star Wars The Force Awakens. Came out this year. I'm going to say that I'm not the biggest fan of this movie, but it is not as bad as the other sequels.
No,
I think this was a good start. They had a really good start to the next sequel trilogy, and then it kind of got thrown out of the window in the next one. But I did enjoy this movie. I fear that Star Wars is not going to have anywhere to go. The Mandalorian and Grogu just came out, and it is not doing well at the box office. So I don't know what's next. Let's pray Ryan Gosling saves us with Starfighter, but it's done from here.
Yeah, I did really like that Star Wars movie. That was before, when they were still pretty decent.
Yeah.
I feel like Dad didn't even like that one, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay, for wild card, I'm going to do The Hunger Games Mockingjay. I really liked The Hunger Games growing up. That was like probably one of my favorite movie franchises. And Mockingjay is one of my favorite ones. It's really good. I remember going to see it with my neighbor Amanda when we were in 2015 when it came out, and I loved it.
Yeah, Tyler's a big fan of the Hunger Games franchise too, so
Yeah, I didn't know that.
he'll definitely be loving this pick.
Yeah.
Let me see. Now you have one more pick. No, you have two more, but you have one right now.
What is my other one? I have
Drama.
Didn't Age Well and Drama.
Yeah.
Or I did The Hateful. Did I do The Hateful Eight for drama?
No, you did that for Oscar nomination.
Okay, so next I'll do Didn't Age Well, and I'm gonna take Hot Pursuit, that movie with, is it Reese Witherspoon? I just said it up. I remember watching it like not too long after it came out on like Netflix or something, and it's just one of those like trash comedy movies that is not funny.
I don't know if I've seen this one.
You can tell by the cover it's like not gonna be great. Sofia Vergara, how do you say?
Vergara.
And yeah, Reese Witherspoon.
Okay.
It's just corny and not good.
Cool. So I got two picks here. For my wild card, Tyler's going to be pissed, but I'm going to take Sicario. I think this is a weak year, and so that's why Sicario is in my draft. I'm not the biggest fan of Sicario. When we did it on the show, me and him argued a lot about that. But yeah, it's a fine enough movie to take this year because there wasn't a lot going on. And then for my Didn't Age Well, I'm going to take the Fantastic Four movie with Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan. Very bad movie, very poorly written. I tried to watch this 3 times that year when it came out, and I kept falling asleep. That's not good when making an action movie. But yeah, you have your last pick with drama.
I'm going to do The Reverend for drama. I haven't seen it either, but this is another one I really want to see. Leonardo DiCaprio's in it.
I think Tom Hardy's in it too.
Yeah, he is here. Have you seen it before?
I have not seen it before. That's why I didn't take it. But yeah, I know it's regarded as a really, really good movie.
It's like a battling movie on the American frontier. It's like a war movie. Drama.
It's more about them
action
going out west and just kind of the fear of the unknown. I know he has a run-in with a bear in this movie. Yeah, I think a lot of people think DiCaprio got snubbed of an Oscar for Best Actor for this movie. And that's definitely a big reason I want to see it too. But yeah, we can read through our drafts. I'll go first. Oops, just dropped my paper. So for box office over 100 million, we have Star Wars The Force Awakens. Oscar nomination, I have The Big Short. Drama, I have The Martian. Comedy/animated, I have Inside Out. Action/horror, I have Creed. Wild card, I have Sicario. And Didn't Age Well, I have Fantastic Four.
So for box office, I have Age of Ultron. For Oscar nomination, I have The Hateful Eight. For drama, I have The Reverend. For comedy, I have Get Hard. For action/horror, I have Mad Max Fury Road. For wild card, I have The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. And for Didn't Age Well, I have Hot Pursuit.
Awesome. Yeah, so we'll post this on Instagram and TikTok and see what people think. But thanks for coming back on. We appreciate having you. I know you'll be joining me in a couple of weeks again. So excited for that episode as well.
Thank you for having me on.
Yep. See you guys next week.